Arizona, Valley of the Sun, home of the Grand Canyon, spring training, and some crazy cacti. From the dawn of air conditioning and swimming pools, people have flocked to Arizona. By the time you finish watching this episode, another 3 people will have moved there.
There are very few places around the United States that are growing faster in the residential or commercial sector than Phoenix.
As America's 5th largest city, Phoenix is a big business and vacation destination. It's also hot, really hot.
We are smack dab in the middle of the desert, and in the summertime, we can get up to about 120 degrees.
When we look at the health statistics across the whole country, heat kills more people every year than almost all other hazards combined. Heat is everybody's concern, but hasn't been anybody's responsibility.
That's why Phoenix created America's first publicly funded Office of Heat Response and Mitigation.
With our partners at ASU, we've been thinking about what it means for a city to be heat ready. And we have a terrific team studying how the physical environment can change with interventions like cool pavement, cool roofs, and tree planting. The big vision or goal is that we could actually reduce the air temperature in the city, especially here in downtown Phoenix, where we're at the epicenter of the urban heat island.
The urban heat island is a phenomenon whereby cities tend to be hotter than their surroundings. The sun is the biggest input of energy into the urban system, so we're constantly trying to find ways to reject the heat from the sun. One of the best ways is through more reflective surfaces.
Phoenix is really a living laboratory for heat, and there are a lot of things that we can test here that other places in the nation can try to implement and follow.
Teamwork is critical. How can the university be answering the questions that the city is asking?
To answer that, and so much more, ASU researchers are building quite the team.
MaRTy is my best friend. MaRTy is a robot that can measure how people experience heat when they're walking outdoors. So when it's sunny, when it's 110 out here in Phoenix, MaRTy can tell you how miserable you are.
MaRTy is joined by ANDI, the sweating, breathing mannequin.
It is an incredibly advanced instrument that has a shape of a human body, and it has 35 different surface areas that are all independently controlled. We can push it to overheat, so to say, more than we can do with a human trial. We might be killing ANDI, but we have a full service contract, so it's okay.
The more data you have, both health data and weather data at finer scales, the more we can know about what's happening to people in the places they live. We have enough resources in this world and knowledge to keep people safe.
I don't think we can rest. I think we have more work to do in assuring this can be a place that's going to grow and thrive.
Growing and thriving, that's Arizona's MO. The state is the 3rd largest producer of fresh market vegetables in America, accounting for 138,000 jobs annually.
Growing food in the desert is just overwhelmingly difficult. We have plenty of struggles with just it being extremely hot, but also lack of water. I think anybody that's participating in agriculture down here is really doing something pretty amazing.
And they have been for a long time. Indigenous people have been growing food in the region for at least 4,000 years, creating advanced canal systems for irrigation, some of which are still in use today.
We do work with some growers that I think are just really unique to this region. Mission Garden's really unique because they're really kind of a museum almost of the history of agriculture in this region. The kind of foods and ingredients that have always been here and have always been used by the indigenous peoples that have lived here. We have citrus, greens, lots of amazing root vegetables, carrots and beets, potatoes. We're really, fortunate in Arizona that we have a year-round growing season. A lot of other places in the country, you can't grow food in the winter.
If you've ever eaten a salad in December, you've got an Arizona farmer to thank for it. 90% of all leafy greens Americans consume in the wintertime are grown in Arizona.
I've been a line cook since I was 15 years old. Developed an idea that we needed to have more access to the produce that we were seeing at the farmers markets. And then through talking to farmers, that farmers really needed a wholesale outlet.
So Eric founded Pivot Produce, connecting the Tucson community with local growers to shorten the supply chain, strengthen food security, and give restaurants like 5 Points Market a whole lot to work with.
It's interesting working with the seasons here. And when we started, our menu only had 5 items on it. In general, our menu has mostly stayed the same and reacted to seasons.
When you actually start working with seasonal food, I think you learn a lot about what grows really well in your region and why it's, unique to the place that you're creating a menu.
I didn't go to culinary school. Everything that we've created on our menu here is a result of just putting flavors together that we enjoy.
This is the dish that kind of made us famous.
Huevos rancheros.
It's like a local level of heat. I think some people maybe just don't eat chili peppers very often.
And you got the saltiness of the cheese and fat kind of to block a little of that heat. Oh, it's perfect. I love this place. Every time I'm in Tucson, I come and I basically stuff my suitcase full of whatever you have.
Some of that's local producers, some of that's companies that were started locally. We definitely, I think, have increased the amount of restaurants that are working with local farms, especially with Eric taking off and creating Pivot Produce. I think that was huge for Tucson.
With heat in the air and heat in the food, it's enough to make you thirsty. Luckily, Arizona's home to some highly inventive craft breweries.
Are we opening with a beer pour?
Boom, dynamite! Your shirt says I'm never drinking again.
Yeah, this is a lie.
I'm Teddy G, and I wear Adidas. I've been drinking beer since I was a fetus. I'll get on with that one.
From iconic flagships at Four Peaks to guest-made microbrews at OHSO, whatever your style, Arizona's got you covered.
This one is, it's called Popcycle Blonde. This is by far one of our most popular beers. Being out in Arizona, we cater a lot of our beers kind of being lighter, crisper, because we have sunshine more than rain. It's a raspberry lemon blonde, which is exactly what it sounds like. It's kind of like the rosé of beer.
You see, like, guys out, there's a guy out here with his leather jacket, his pit bull. He's got two pitchers of Popcycle sitting there.
Kilt Lifter is our flagship beer. You can't go wrong with Kilt Lifter.
It's really approachable. It pairs with every kind of food. Really great caramel flavor, some toffee, minimal hops.
That's super dry and clean and makes you want to have another sip.
I want another sip.
I like to call this brewery the brewery that Kilt Lifter built. This facility is the largest single brew site in the state of Arizona.
Craft beer 10 years ago, honestly, was not that big.
Me and a couple friends were doing just to explore what we can make.
A lot of breweries you go to, you see big tanks and you see kind of these things behind walls and you wonder what they do. Well, here we involve everyone and we brew 4 times a week with guests.
Yeah, we have lines around the building when we do this. And it's it's only a testament to what we do with our community.
Another thing that unites the Arizona community is the challenge of water. As the American West grapples with the worst drought in a millennium, Arizonans are finding innovative ways to conserve the desert's most precious resource.
The water conversation is absolutely one that's right up against the heat conversation.
Obviously, water use is a huge deal for a brewery. Anything that we don't use in the process, we recirculate and reuse to alleviate our burden.
We did a wastewater challenge, took wastewater and treated it so it was potable again and pumped it into a tank and brewed a beer with it. It was kind of hard to get past to people saying, oh, so you made beer with toilet water? There's still a lot of stigma around it, even though the water was clean. The water tasted better than our tap water, so we try to close loops wherever we can to save that water.
Brewers, because we're ultimately an extension of the agriculture industry, we have a very keen sense and sensitivity towards the energy we consume and giving back to production and agriculture.
A batch of beer here uses about 1,000 pounds of grain. We're brewing anywhere from 3 to 6 times a week, so it adds up quickly. We have a farmer that comes and picks it up and feeds it to his cows and pigs and chickens.
We use the spent grain after our brew process to make dog treats. I do events all over the state, and if I show up anywhere without dog treats, I'll get like blasphemy. People want the dog treat so bad.
So yeah, even our waste material doesn't go to waste, which is nice. The fun thing about brewing is when you start looking at sustainability, it actually helps your process out and of course your bottom line too. A lot of brewers, I feel like it kind of comes with the territory. They're outdoor people, so they get out into nature a lot and they want to preserve what's there.
What does Arizona have in droves? And it's natural wilderness outside. And a lot of our populace obviously likes to enjoy it.
And once you've worked up an appetite from all that outdoor adventuring, a good meal is always on the table.
Hospitality is something we really care about.
Hospitality for us is when you have family reunions, you don't know everyone, but you have the time to know them. Everybody's grown family, so it's cool to see where we started and we're young and way too crazy. Now we're kind of crazy, but we have families too.
Brian and Jasper really took me under their wing. They're a huge part of my community, and Pivot has become a huge part of their community.
We wouldn't be here if it wasn't for the community. So, I mean, that's the biggest part.
We love our people.
No, you're bringing people together, and you're creating a community where people can connect and find support and love, and I think it's beautiful.
It is beautiful.
Cheers to that.
Cheers. Cheers.